The House has been debating this for almost 2 hours now, Ros, and they are now going through the process of voting on that resolution, which would be to invoke the 25th Amendment. That essentially asks the Vice President, Mike Pence, to call together his cabinet and a majority of those members to then bring forward and rule that the President is unable to do his job and therefore should be removed from office. But as we are aware, Mike Pence does not support going down this path. We don't believe he has changed his mind. So essentially, this resolution will go through. It will pass the House because the Democrats do control that chamber. But essentially, it's more of a statement than anything else at this point in time, Ros.
So what's likely to happen from here then, Catherine?
So because this is likely to fail, the Democrats are going to push ahead with that charge of impeachment in the House. We expect that could happen as soon as tomorrow. That is under the banner of incitement of insurrection in relation to how the President acted in the hours leading up to that their capital coming under siege just a week ago. It also relates to him pressuring officials in Georgia to find additional votes to overturn the result there. And it also talks to the fact that the President has continued to claim that he won the election when in fact he did not. And he has continued to spread those baseless claims of electoral fraud, which have been tried and tested in the court system here and on most occasions have been thrown out. So that charge of impeachment is expected, if everything plays out the way in which we think it will do so, is expected to be voted on in the House tomorrow. Because the Democrats have the numbers in that chamber, it is expected to pass. But from there, it then will go to the Senate. It could be heard as soon as the 19th of January, which is the eve of Joe Biden's inauguration. Although it is a tough task for it to actually go forward from there, because it requires a 2/3 majority of the upper chamber to actually lead to the President being officially charged with that indictment. And then from there, if the Democrats actually push forward with what they want to achieve, which is to ban the President from ever running for office again, that would require a separate vote. But we understand that that would only be a simple majority. The President, who has been barred from speaking on social media platforms here, has been fairly silent on all of this in recent days, Ros, but he spoke on his way to Texas today. Let's take a listen.
The 25th Amendment is of zero risk to me, but will come back to haunt Joe Biden and the Biden administration. As the expression goes, be careful what you wish for.
So, Catherine, are more senior Republican Party members now jumping ship and speaking out against Donald Trump?
We are starting to see more of them do so. We've seen Mitch McConnell, who is the leader of the Senate, or reports rather, of him saying that he believes President Trump has actually committed an impeachable offence, and he is said to be pleased that Democrats are moving ahead with impeachment. Liz Cheney, who is a Republican in the House, has also publicly come out today and stated that it is an impeachable offence what the President has done. They are just two of several that have moved to speak out against the President. And if anyone has sway in the Senate to try and get those numbers to move forward with that impeachment charge, it most certainly is Mitch McConnell.
And how is the Capitol preparing for Inauguration Day, Catherine, among reports of more armed protests?
Well, look, we've just taken a drive through downtown to set up for a shot, and it was pretty difficult to get close to any of the main US government buildings here, Ros. Police and National Guard troops are blocking entrance to the White House, the Congress building, and also the Supreme Court. Law enforcement officer numbers on the ground has been bolstered fivefold since this time last week. There are 15,000 National Guard troops now roaming the streets here, protecting various buildings to try and prevent what we saw take place last week. And we're also seeing shop fronts right across the capital once again board up. That is the fourth time that I have seen that happen in roughly the past 6 months. So certainly a capital on high alert as we head towards the inauguration of Joe Biden and what we expect to be some planned protest action in coming days and also on the day of inauguration itself.
So of those 170 cases that have already been opened, and I anticipate that's going to grow to the hundreds in the next coming weeks, we've already charged over 70 cases. And again, that number I suspect is going to grow into the hundreds.
And just in, Roz, just to update us on the story here, Mike Pence, the Vice President, has written to Nancy Pelosi about the 25th Amendment. He says that he does not believe that such a course of action is in the best interests of our nation or consistent with the Constitution, and said that last week he did not yield to pressure to exert power beyond his constitutional authority and will now yield to efforts in the House, will not yield to efforts in the House to play political games at a time so serious in the life of this nation. So there we have it. Roz, essentially Mike Pence has put to bed any sort of suggestion that he may well proceed with invoking the 25th Amendment.